When people are released from jail, they have the responsibility to appear in court. But some of these people choose to go on the run.
They go back home to mommy.
And that is when these guys come into the picture. So sit back and listen to the Off the Hook podcast with Chad and Rob.
Very fine people on both sides.
These are real stories, but the names have been changed.
Hello, everybody. This is Rob.
This is Chad.
And today we have a very special episode. We got Mr. Dave Hill with us today. And Mr. Dave Hill is, he's awesome guy. We just sat with him for the past 30, 45 minutes talking with him. We got so much to go over, so we're going to give it up for Mr. Dave Hill. All right. So let me tell you how I met Mr. Hill. I got a call. I got a good friend of mine who does all my tattoo work because I like my tattoos. And I've known him for 25 years. And he called me and said, hey, I got a good friend of mine who's retiring from the movie industry and is going to be getting back into counter surveillance. And he might be able to help you. And I was like, cool. And then Chad was like, get him on. I'm like, all right, cool. So we're going to get him on, and Chad, tell them about what this man has done, and then we're going to get into him shortly.
Well, I don't speak for him too much here, but he specializes in he's a pyrotechnician.
Yes, sir.
And special effects.
Yep.
And done many movies. Most recent, The Exorcism in 2024, Scream 2022, The Highwaymen, The Conjuring, The Hunger Games, Journey 2. And that was when The Rock was here.
Yep.
I saw him at Gold's. He used to work out there. Eastbound and Down, One Tree Hill, Dawson's Creek, The Patriot, Nightmare on Elm Street, and that was the third one. And General Hospital, 86 through 93.
Yep.
Very cool, and many, many more, but those are just some highlights. So
Absolutely. Hey, turn that thing off. I can hear that thing from here, I think. We'll cut it back on shortly. So if you're listening to us and if you want to see us, go to our YouTube channel, Off the Hook Podcast, and you'll see Mr. Hill here. He's got some surveillance equipment, some very expensive stuff that he's going to show you. And so he's done all these movies and these TV shows, and especially here because we had One Tree Hill and Dawson's Creek filmed here, and Wilmington's big for that. So, but now he's kind of retiring, going back into the counter surveillance industry with his company, Privacy Sweepers, and we're just going to get to Dave and let him go with it, and we'll kind of freelance this thing.
Oh, well, nice to meet you. Glad to meet you both, and Sean spoke highly of you both. So basically, what I deal with technical surveillance countermeasures. I help people, individuals and businesses deal with their privacy issues. As we all know nowadays, you hear in the news all the time about people finding cameras in their Airbnbs, bathrooms. They're finding air tags and stuff that they're on their cars. So I just want to be able to help people, deal with their privacy issues, feel safe. Because in today's world, as we all know,
and it helps in our industry as as bondsmen and private investigators to have somebody like this individual because he's licensed and he's done this for a long time.
Yeah. I started in 2000. In 2005, did a Fortune 500 company, so I did high end at one point, and then now I'm getting into the low to middle level at this point, unless they call me again. But that's an extensive thing. That high end, that's real high end.
Well, we'll be calling you. I promise you that.
Well, hopefully you won't have to worry like that with the Chinese or Russians spying on them. But
if it gets that far, I think I'm moving to the Caribbean. So Dave, start off. Tell everybody what you were doing with the pyrotechnics, and then we're going to get into your surveillance.
Well, I've been in the movie industry for going on 39 years now this September. do special effects, which deals with everything from a leaf falling in the scene to a breeze on the trees to making snow, the hurricane season, making it rain. And my specialty, everyone in the business has some kind of specialty, fabricators or mold makers. My specialty is pyrotechnics, and I went through extensive training for theater and live stage shows I did air shows where we used high explosives under airplanes. I've just got into doing that, and I've done, like I was telling you guys, I stopped counting explosions at 15,000, and that was 15 years ago because I got tired of counting them.
Oh man, I bet you it was fun though. I bet you blew up some all kinds of shit.
Well, you figure that movie Patriot that Chad mentioned, that alone we did 7,000 explosions on that.
Oh.
Just over the course of filming.
Wow.
And that was using everything from, Kinepac, ammonium nitrate explosives to primacord to black powder to flash powders,
So let me say this. So all you fugitives out there, if we come after you, we're gonna bring this guy with us.
He won't open the door, Rob.
Hey,
What do
Dave.
we do? Dave.
Well, like I tell people, if you get in your car and you turn the key and it goes click, 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 get out.
That's awesome. So, all right. So you were telling us about a story a little bit earlier with at Nightmare on Elm Street when you doing it, because Chad and I are both old enough to remember watching it growing up, because Freddy Krueger was awesome growing up.
He was my favorite. And Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 2 would come out. Me and my buddy in New York, we were making our own little home movies. And we were always loved that stuff because we loved the horror. And then I got to work on my first movie called Lady in White up in Western New York. And when it finished there, to go back out to L.A. to finish filming in the studios, I was unemployed and I drove out there. And the first day they hired me back as a production assistant. And I'm standing there in the office and the effects guys were talking on the phone. And he turned around and looked at me and said, "We left you in New York." And I said, "Oh, yeah." He goes, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I said, "Nothing, they're just day playing on this." And he goes, "You want to work on Nightmare on Elm Street?" And of course, you know the answer at that point.
Oh yeah.
And so the next day, I went and started on Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. And as I told you, it was the only time in my entire business I've been starstruck when I saw Freddy Krueger for the first time standing there. And it was just an awesome experience to experience that with, Kevin Yeager, who was the makeup effects guy, and seeing all that going on. And of course, I think I was telling you back then, the production companies would bring out rap beer, is what they called it. And when they called rap at the end of the day and you were putting your gear away, they'd bring out a case of beer for everyone to drink a beer while you wrapped your gear. And one day we had a second unit shoot after the first unit shoot, and Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger, came up and snatched a case of beer and ran over to wait for us. And by the time we got over there, he'd already drank a six-pack. So it was pretty interesting to see Freddy Krueger drunk.
Was it hard to fall asleep on set?
Yeah. Well, he told you, don't take a nap.
I love it. Yeah. What about? So you mentioned The Patriot earlier. I know Chad's wife was a big fan of The Patriot, and I was too. I mean, that was a great movie. And you did a lot of explosions there. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was in charge of the pyrotechnics on that, and I ran second unit, which is primarily on a feature film. What it used to be is first unit pretty much dealt with the production or the performances of the actors. Getting their stuff done. They didn't spend a lot of extra time doing shots just of stuff blowing up or people getting shot or whatever, car crashes. That was usually put on second unit. So there was just two units. The first unit dealt with the actors, second unit dealt with the fun stuff. And that's what I dealt with, just every day we'd show up and we had amputees sitting around with missing arms and missing legs. Makeup effects people came to work with a bucket full of legs and arms, and I had a magazine full of explosives, and the director would say, "Today I want to blow a guy's leg off." And we'd take that guy, set him up, put a fake leg on him, and have a cannonball hit him. And
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let's go hook up some people today.
Well, as my dad always said, if you don't grow up, you'll never make nothing of your life. And I said, who knew there was a job where I could be a child?
So, what was your favorite film to work on?
It's hard to say. They're all different. Like Patriot was fun just because of the intense amount of nonstop pyrotechnics. One of my favorite shows to ever work on was The Conjuring. Conspirator, because Robert Redford was the director.
Oh, yeah.
And to be able to work with that man who was just amazing.
I've heard he was very brilliant.
He was amazing personally, professionally. And, so be able to work with some people like that. I got to work with Stephen King several times. And it's funny because him and Robert Redford are the only two people I ever met that have my weird sense of humor. But it's kind of hard to say what, like Scream 5 was a rarity because in the business, there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of egos from different people, So, like I tell people, the best part of the business is the people. The worst part of the business is the people. If you have great people, it's an awesome experience. And like Scream 5 was exactly that. Everybody from the highest producer to every actor to the lowest person on the crew, we couldn't wait to come to work, and we never wanted to go home. It was just fun, laughing all day long, and just making a movie.
Well, being able to work somewhere that you enjoy coming to means a lot, and that's why me and Chad have done so well over the years, because we don't mind coming to work.
Yeah, exactly. And like The Highwaymen was a great experience because they wanted to make it as real, as authentic as like the real story of Bonnie and Clyde. And when we actually did the killing of Bonnie and Clyde, the ambush, we did that at the exact spot where they were ambushed. They covered up the monuments with greens because the director wanted to do it authentically right there. And I had to make the car exactly like the real one. I had to make every bullet hit the exact same shape, location, every single thing. Wow. So it was 100% authentic.
Man, I could pick your brain for hours. Oh, this is awesome, man. I'm enjoying this, man. I'm glad Sean gave me a call and give me a number. We hooked up. This is great. So you're done with you're getting done with the movies industry now, or are you still working in it at all?
I'm still going to work in it, but like I said, I've been doing it 39 years, and like most businesses, you get to a point where you've had enough, and I'm getting to the point where I want to back off on the everyday thing, because it's long hours. It's like 12 to 14 hours a day. If it's raining outside, you're standing in it. If it's freezing outside, you're standing in it. So I'm trying to back off to where I'll just now dabble in it. I'll go in and be the pyrotechnician. I do robotics and stuff, so I'll go in and build a robot for you or a special gag. But
Sean said something about gremlins.
Yeah, we built a gremlin for Netflix, their TV show called Obliterated. And it's a fully mechanical, 3-foot tall gremlin.
Oh, can I borrow that? I got some people I want to go terrorize.
Yeah, because, basically I just want to back off on the everyday stuff of being, having to go to work and sit in the nasty weather and sit out in the woods. And, in Puerto Rico, I was in the woods, in the jungle, surrounded by lizards, snakes, and I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So you're getting into this counter surveillance thing, which is awesome because it's going to help us out too in the future for our future work, which is awesome. I'm excited about that. So tell them a little bit about your company, Privacy Sweepers, and what you do.
All right. Well, my company's called Privacy Sweepers. Obviously, it's a misnomer. I guess that's the correct term. Because basically, when you're dealing, especially in the high end, you don't want the eavesdropper or the person spying on you to hear that, oh, you're bringing in a counter surveillance team, because then they can deactivate their stuff. So, and since I do technical surveillance countermeasures sweeps of buildings and cars, I call it sweepers, so it sounds like a cleaning company. So basically, like I say, we deal with, now I deal with trying to help small businesses medium businesses, private individuals who are concerned about their personal safety. As you know, we all hear nowadays, for personal safety, you hear people finding cameras in their Airbnbs and their rental homes and even in, wherever, and bathrooms and stuff. And you hear people, dealing with trackers and stuff, especially with if you're going through a legal matter or a divorce or even a relationship breakup. People have been known to plant trackers, custody cases, someone will plant a camera on the other person to try to get information on them, and you can buy that stuff online. It's so cheap, there's thousands of them, audio devices, cameras, and the cameras are on everything. You can't name one thing where there's not a camera hidden in it.
Yeah, we were talking earlier, and you were saying something about USBs and how they can just drop them. People are just dropping them in places, and people are curious and stick it into their computer and end up with their computer, all their sensitive information gone.
Yeah, people aren't aware of that. A lot of them, people I've talked to recently, they're just flabbergasted about it. Because you hear all the time about computers and how hackers get into your computers or your phones and they plant malware or ransomware or viruses or whatever, or they get in and take control of and steal your passwords and all that. And that's high tech. Personally myself, I don't know how to do that, and I don't know if you guys know anybody who's that technical knowledgeable to be able to hack into your computer. And so if you wanted to eavesdrop on somebody, you can't do that. So there's all this low tech stuff that you can do that's easy. And one thing that people don't realize is there's it's a big thing, even the FBI's put out a warning to everybody, as what they call a malicious USB cable. And it's also malicious USB hard drives too, the thumb drives that you get. And basically, this isn't one, but this is just a typical USB drive or cable like you get for charging your phone. And they now have them that you can buy, and hackers have, that inside this spot there's a little micro SD card and a circuit board. Mm-hmm. And what they'll do is they'll either walk around a business or in a parking lot and just drop the cable. And you'll walk around, you find a cable laying on the ground, you'll pick it up, and oh, it looks pretty good. Hey, I can use that. I got an iPhone. And you take it home and you plug it into your iPhone, plug it into your computer. And now they've uploaded ransomware into your computer and taken control of your computer or your phone. They start stealing all your passwords and all your files. Or some of them are audio recorders. So like if they just wanted to listen to what you're doing, you plug it in and now it's an audio device. Some are GPS trackers. And same with the thumb drives, they're the same thing, and you don't know. So you should never, ever use any USB cable or thumb drive that you haven't personally bought from a reputable store. Even what they'll do is, as far as like you go to conventions or shows like that, people walk around and give free gifts out. Like, hey, we're giving out free gifts to advertise our business. Don't use it because you don't know what that person's intentions are.
Yeah, so
good point.
I get a question about that. You go into these convenience stores, and I've done it before in the past, and I definitely am not going to do it now. But go into a store and you see where they're selling car chargers, for your phone. That's like just kind of hanging up there. You just grab it and go with it. So you wouldn't suggest buying one of them?
It's hard because they even go as far as some hackers go as far as spending money, because at the offset of what they get if they actually get into your system, especially a business,
right.
Is they'll even go as far as having them packaged to look like real packaging, and they'll mail them to you. You'll get it, like, especially if you're an employee, you'll get a package in the mail addressed to your company. You'll open it up and there'll be a packaged USB cable. Looks like something in the store, but it's not.
Right.
And like I say, it's just the best to make sure you buy one that's reputable, like from a reputable store, because they're not just, like you say, the smaller stores, people can sell their items there, and you don't know what it's all about. You don't even know if the employee there is doing it,
Interesting. Man. So anything else? I mean, anything else like you can tell people that they can do at the house without, just simple stuff that you can do.
Yeah, well things to be watch out for is like I say, the cables are one thing. There's, you hear about the hidden cameras. I mean, the cameras are in everything. Teddy bears, they're in smoke detectors. And I mean, I got a thing here, like, this is just page after page after page of smoke detectors that are sold online for real cheap that all have hidden cameras in them, and you could stick them up anywhere and there's a camera in it. There's, like this here is an example of a little camera. That's a big camera, actually. The cameras they have now are small like that you can't even find. And audio devices, this is just an example of one you can buy online that you just plug a 9-volt battery in it, drop it, like I was telling you, drop it in your box over there, and it'll record everything that you're doing.
Oh, somebody's here. Hang on. So, all right. So while Chad's checking the door, I don't know why they want to beat on the door like that. So while Chad's checking the door, speaking of like the camera stuff like that, what have you found? What have some of the interesting things that you have found?
Well, the big stuff I haven't found anything like in the Fortune 500 company and stuff, which is basically a lot of times it's more like a peace of mind. I think I was telling you earlier about a friend of mine who I told her what to look for, and she found a microphone wired in her bedroom. The other friend of mine that found a GPS on his truck that was there because of a relationship that he was going with. It's just, so far I haven't found a lot, which is good, because a lot of times people, they have the suspicions for various reasons. You don't know. Like one guy contacted me years ago, and I tried to talk him out of it because I could tell immediately that there was nothing in his house. He was just one of those people that was super paranoid and went and bought one of those cheap RF detectors online, and you fire it up and he goes, there's bugs everywhere in my house. Like, oh no, there ain't, but he forced me to come do it, and it was more like a peace of mind for a lot of people. Because like I say, a lot of times I'll just tell people what to find, and then they'll look around and they'll find the camera themselves, and you look, same with like the air tags, like, this is an example of this is an air tag, one that doesn't work now. I use it for training, but you can put it in this thing here, and then car thieves use these all the time now for stealing your cars. Instead of having to stalk you, which is a chance of being caught, now they just go sit in the parking lot.
Show the camera that. So everybody at home, if you're listening, you got to log on to our YouTube channel, Off the Hook Podcast. Subscribe, like, comment, and you can see everything he has here. It's pretty neat.
So it just goes in this case.
Yeah.
It's magnetic.
You just take an air tag, you drop it in, it's waterproof, and car thieves use it a lot of times, or whoever wants to do it, and it's just like anything else. You just walk up to a car and stick it to the car, and the next thing you know, and you stick it in the wheel well, stick it up underneath the bottom of the car, and now the car is being tracked, and like I say, car thieves do it a lot now because they'll sit there in the mall parking lot and just sit there and wait to see a car that they want, and then they'll wait for you to walk in the mall, and then they'll walk up and drop their phone or stumble and trip because they know people are watching.
They'll wait for the opportune moment to find you somewhere else.
And then they just stick it on there, and then they can just go away. And that way there's no chance of you seeing someone following you if you're aware. And then they just, later that night, they'll just pull out their phone and come to your house, and you wake up and your car is gone. There's the big issue now, if you watch the news out in California, that's been going on, where the burglary ring has been planting cameras in rocks and on trees. They found them because one neighbor was always in his yard, and he noticed this rock all of a sudden showed up, and he picked it up, and there was a camera in it. And basically what they do now is they take it and they point it towards a house they want to stake out to find out what your routine is. And they found several of them now in California with this one burglary ring. So you just don't know what people's minds are all about. so you have the hidden cameras, you got the things, you got, the viruses for your computers. They have these things called keystroke loggers that they plug in between your mouse, if you have a wired mouse, and it logs all your keystrokes and everything you're doing on the thing. So it's got your passwords, your login names, all the information tied, and they unplug it, take it home, and
You make me want to move to damn Caribbean, like with new technology.
they have it there too. But it's just the main reason I've gotten into this was to just try to just make people aware, just like everything else, like safety and security. You try to teach people to how not to be a victim, which is just being aware. Like you don't walk out and just climb in your car, especially at night. You walk up and look in the back seat before you open the door, because you don't know if someone wants to come after you. And there's all kinds of reasons people do this. They do it because of divorces. They do it for business competition. They do it for voyeurism. There was one instance where this manager of an apartment complex, every time one of the female tenants would tell him, thought they were doing the right thing, like, hey, I'm going out of town for a while. And he'd go, oh, great. Well, while you're out of town, I'm going to do some maintenance in your house, your apartment. And then he was going in and sticking up smoke detectors.
Chad, I'm gonna get you to talk for a second. Make sure your mic's working.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Back.
Yep.
I'm back.
All right, you're back. Cool. So, Dave, we're gonna have fun with you, man. We're gonna take you outside and let you go around our truck to see what we got going on with us. See if we got anybody tracking us. But this is awesome, man. So, you live here in Wilmington?
Yes.
Okay. So, how can people can you can call us off the hook. You can call us here, or I have a PI company called the Allen Risk Group here in Wilmington. You can call me. You can call him directly. Hell, you can even like and comment on our YouTube channel, and we can get you in touch with him if this is something that you're worried about or worried about in the future. We can get you hold of. Don't worry about it, because that's our specialty is finding people. Ain't that right, Chad?
That's what we do.
Show everybody what this big ass thing on our table is.
This thing is what they call it's a MESA. It's a spectrum analyzer, and basically when you're looking for transmitting devices, GPS trackers, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, any of that stuff. It's what they call a spectrum analyzer, and what it does is it scans the frequency, like it's set from 85 kilohertz to 12 gigahertz. And it'll scan that range within split seconds over and over, and it'll show any transmitting devices that are in there. And so if there's a hidden camera that's transmitting on Wi-Fi or cellular or a wireless, like these little old bugs that you can buy left and right online. They're in the FM range of the system, so they hide in the same FM range that your radio transmissions are for your listening to your car stereo. And basically, you can just put this in, go home, pull out an old radio phone, radio, and tune it into that channel on FM. Which is also the whole secret in the old days, is how you'd have all this high-tech $500,000 worth of equipment, and the easiest way to find those bugs is you walk in with an old FM stereo, and you just walk in and just scan the frequency, and when you hit a bug, it'll do the feedback just like a microphone, like for a musician, and that's when he tells you, oh, there's a transmitter in the building. And it's that's the easiest low-tech way, and you can do that nowadays because, like I say, the problem I found was today people are so hung up on the technology, and because everything's advanced to that high-tech area, and they think that that's all the threats. Well, why do you think we couldn't find bin Laden all those years? It was because he didn't use the high-tech. He used the low-tech from the old days, because nobody looks for that anymore. They all think it's all high-tech. And I even had a conversation with two young guys who were bragging about how they were the new wizards of technical surveillance countermeasures. They could find anything out there, digital, whatever. And I looked at him and I said, well, can you find a screech? And they looked at me and go, what the heck is that? And I said, that's how, if I wanted to send a message to somebody, that's how I would do it, and you'd never find it. And they go, what do you mean? And the screech in the old days was I would take a tape recorder and record the message I wanted to send to Chad. And then, because you know your phones are bugged, you think your phones are bugged. So then, while I call him on the phone, he's got a tape recorder recording at his end, and then I take this back and play it at super high speed. So it's in the background, it's going like noise. And then after the phone call, the people listening on the phone hear that thing is just noise. Then after the phone call, he takes his tape recorder and plays it back at low speed, and there's the message.
You're talking sweet nothings to Chad right now.
Wow.
You know that, right?
And they had no idea.
Chad's going to end up buying a bunch of meds.
And that's the thing is like again today, people think it's all high-tech cellular, but these little FM transmitters that are pennies out there, they're sold by the thousands of dollars every year. There's tens of thousands of dollars of these being sold constantly. Somebody's using them. Why? Because no one's checking the low-tech FM range. They're all using high-tech spectrum analyzers and checking the cellular and the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth, And it's just like GPS trackers. GPS trackers, traditionally, there's two types. Generally was the plant and retrieve, where you plant them on a car, and then they record without transmitting, and you have to go back and retrieve it to get the information out. Then there's the ones with the cellular that transmit cellular. Well, now there's a new one. It works on Wi-Fi, where you plant it on a car, and it waits till you park your car back in your yard. And when you park your car in the yard, then at a certain point in the middle of the night, it connects to your Wi-Fi in your house and sends the information out. So that way, so there's no 100% way of finding things. There's so many different ways that you have to look. Like I say, you can be an amateur sleuth and watch all this stuff online and buy a cheap thing and think that you're going to find stuff, but there's not.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've when looking in, because that's what we do is surveillance and cameras and stuff. I've used one. I've actually sent one back not too long ago because it didn't work for shit.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I definitely understand where you come from that. And Chad's over there. He's looking at me like, "Ooh,
It's a lot of
I'm gonna
toys.
start looking at these toys."
Yeah, I was just looking at your little red light, one that finds hidden cameras, like in your hotel room or something like that. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like with hidden cameras, like this thing here is everyone sees it. It's a USB charger you plug in your wall.
Hiding in plain sight.
But there's a camera right there.
Right.
And if you don't know it, you walk into a hotel and there's one of these plugged in the wall, where you in your office or something. It's got power all the time, so it's on all the time and it's facing you. That's the one key about a camera, is it has to see you. It has to be able to look at you. So it's not, if it's pointing the wrong way, it's not worth it. Just like if you go sit in a restroom and you're thinking, someone looking at me? Well, if you're sitting on the commode and you're doing your business, look around. The camera has to be able to be in a position to see you. So if there's a sink right in front of you, look at the sink.
I do not dread anybody looking at me taking a shit.
But that's the thing, and it's like the same with the vents up top. If there's a vent, there's a camera. It's not going to be facing the other way. It's going to be facing the toilet. And so you have it doesn't take much to be aware of yourself. It's just a matter of looking, and you see something that's suspicious. Like there was a recent where a woman was in a bathroom and she just saw this thing that looked like a pen hanging down from the sink in front of her. And she got curious and went up and looked there, and it was a pen camera that a guy just taped up there. And it was pointing at her, They have cameras now that are in the toilets looking up. I'm serious. It's like, so you never know, You
want to see my brown eye.
But the thing that
Go retrieve my camera.
I don't know about it, Chad. I don't know if I'm going to put my hands in there.
And, like the thing with cameras is 99% of the cameras, and I'll say 99 because I'll tell you the other story, but 99% of the cameras, they have to, there's always a little hole. Like if you see a smoke detector above your bed, look at it. And if there's a tiny hole in it facing your bed, I would look at it, because smoke detectors don't have little holes in them. Same with all the other stuff. If there's a clock, there's got to be, usually they'll hide it in the black spot of the clock. so that way you don't see the hole, but there's got to be a hole for the pinhole camera to look out. Well, one way to find them is if you can buy something like this. This is a more expensive one, but they have cheap ones that you can buy. They flash a red light, and you look through the center. And when you do that, you look, and you'll see that you see the light reflecting off the lens.
Yep.
And
Pretty cool.
and that's how you find it. Is everything you have there.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. And so no matter what it is, you're gonna see that. You can use your light on your phone. You turn all your lights off in your house if you think there might be something there, and then just start shining it around. And if you see a little white reflection, then I would investigate that. You can, like I was telling Chad earlier, like hidden cameras, they record in the nighttime. Well, in order to record at night, they have to have an infrared illuminator. And you can't see the infrared illuminator by your eyes. But your phone, most phones can. You turn it on, and the way you can check it is you have your remote for your TV or your stereo. Well, if you look at it and push the button at the front, you don't see nothing. But if you take it and hold it in front of your phone, you'll see the infrared LED flashing because your phone's sensitive to infrared. And that's the same thing there. You turn your lights off so that the infrared illuminator will have to activate so the camera can see anything. And you just walk around your house and look and see if you see any kind of white spots popping out. People give you gifts.
If you're missing some stuff, you didn't bring it with you today.
A lot of it's just being aware, like if people give you gifts, look at them, especially if they're not a family member or love, even them you have to be careful of, but you never know, someone might be watching you, but someone gives you a gift. Just take a moment and look at it, like say you collect eagles, because they're not going to give you just any stupid gift, because how many gifts have you gotten and you're thrown in a closet or something because it's like, oh, thank you, but there it goes. I'll never see that again. But if, say, you collect eagles or you collect stuffed animals, they're going to give you a gift like that because they know that you're going to set it up to display it. And inside there could be a camera, so you want to check all that stuff. Especially young girls, someone gives you a teddy bear or stuffed animal, especially college girls. You got a small dorm room, so you don't have closets to hide it in. You're going to take the teddy bear and set it up on a shelf. Well, take it and squeeze it. There shouldn't be anything in it. If you squeeze it and you feel something hard, there's got to be a battery or transmitter. Around the eyes, you squeeze them, and just the camera might be there. Look to see at the eyes if there's a little hole in it, or the nose, because you just don't know. It can be in anything. They give you a clock. They give you a lamp, something that they know you're going to show, You just have to be aware of what you're looking at, It just, you don't have to be paranoid. It's not the purpose of any seminars or consultations I do with people. It's just making you aware so you don't become a victim. You're out somewhere and you're constantly seeing the same guy. He's everywhere you go. Go to the mall and you see him over there walking in the mall. You go to the restaurant and he's in the restaurant. You go walking around your dog and he's down the street. Well, maybe he's got an air tag or a GPS tracker on your car.
Too coincidental.
It is, and
Yeah.
someone might know something. Like all of a sudden you're out and someone repeats something that you've only talked about in your house. Works with businesses as well. And you're like, well, how the hell do they know that? Well, you might want to check and see if they, I actually had a lady call me recently about that. Her ex seems to always know what she's talking about, and she's been scared to death. And I told her, so you should check your house, because he might have put something in there, a camera or whatever. In the old days, if it's, a lot of the stuff is simple to find because it's just buy and stick somewhere. If someone has access to your house, they could be more creative and dig a hole, like in businesses, the push-up tiles.
Yeah.
They'll drill a little tiny hole there, and take this little camera and stick it up there and above your desk, and you'll never know it.
Well, good luck doing it at ours because we have to replace ours every freaking 2 months because it's a water leak. It's horrible. So are you sure, Chad? Are you sure your mother-in-law didn't put anything on that golden retriever when you kept it?
Well, they have cameras on dogs now too.
So you got. I was thinking it was episode 3 that we did. Chad went on a rant about a golden retriever.
Because actually, a friend of mine said she wanted to get a camera for her dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so she could, when she walks, so she could have the dog recording everything. You know, I mean, you don't know. I mean, like I was telling you, I got
like a dash
I got
cam.
a body. Yeah. And it's even small. I'm like, I got a body cam on me. I carry it all the time. It's not on now, but I carry it.
Let me see that thing. Let me see what yours looks like.
In case I need to record, you get interactive with something.
I think I've seen these. Yeah, this camera turns.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know, and what I like about that is you don't have to do anything special to turn it on. All you do is just flick that up, and now it's on. Because some of them you have to turn on, and you have to press the record. And I bought this one specifically so it didn't have to. And you know, like I say, so you don't know. You could be out there talking to somebody, and they've got a button camera, or they got a camera in their hat. You know,
It looks like a little voice recorder.
yeah. You know,
I think
that's
it's
cool.
neat.
and so you just don't know. You know, today's day, there's cameras everywhere. You know, watching
Right.
you. You know, and just because someone's talking to you doesn't mean you don't have a camera.
Wow. Let me tell you, this is a start of a really good relationship right here. I like this. Sean Beck, if you're ever in Wilmington and need a tattoo, you got to go see Sean. I got to give Sean a shout out because, you know, he's the one that introduced us to him. He's over there. He's over here. It's Hardwire.
I'm not sure where his place is.
Anyway, it's on the corner of Market and Front.
He's amazing.
He's an amazing person. I've known him for 25 years. I've known him and his family. I've been there since all his kids were born. Same did with mine. He got married. I tied his tie for him at his wedding. You know, great guy, and I'm so thankful that he's introduced us to Dave here. This has been awesome. As soon as all this era is over on the podcast, we're going to probably pick his brain some more. We're going to go out there and play with the trucks and see what kind of stuff he's got. Chad, you got any more questions for him, man? This is awesome.
I think you talked briefly about cell phones since they're such a big topic and security with cell phones and people worried about can you remotely send like an app or in order to gain control of somebody's phone and access it, or do you have to physically get a hold of it? Can you do it remotely?
You can, to some extent, you can do it remotely. That's why they tell you, like, if you get emails and things like that, and you don't know, you open up the email, and then there's like, click this link to see this picture, or click this link to do that. Like, I get things all the time, like, Joe Blow has pictures of you. I don't know Joe Blow, but click this link, and you can see if any of the pictures. You're like, well, hell no.
I don't want to know that bad.
Yeah, because if you click a link for something that you do not know,
Yep.
that link is what will all of a sudden download the malware, ransomware, or virus, or whatever to your phone.
And we have seen that in some of the criminal defense cases that we have done where people have opened it up and it was like kiddie porn.
Yep.
And they got charged because they opened it up and they're like, I don't know what this is. And then it tears their lives apart. And you got some people who do, who are sick in the head.
I know of an instance, because it was told to me by the person who did it. It was a female, and she was dating this guy, and he was married and didn't tell her. And when she found out, obviously she broke it off, but it angered her to no end. And she has the knowledge. She told me that she created this own personal app herself, and what it would do is it would randomly send her his cell phone naked pics of guys from a phone. And the issue was it wasn't the same phone number. It would randomly send new phone numbers, so he couldn't like block that phone number and not get it. And the reason she did that was because she knew his wife would see the pictures, and then it caused turmoil in the marriage. So you don't know what people are capable of doing.
Don't date crazy women.
Yeah.
I've married a few of them.
Yeah, they weren't. You didn't know that until you got into it.
Nope.
And and the same thing with all that computer, cell phones. Don't ever leave it unattended in a public area, even for a second. Like there's the counter right there, and you leave your computer there, and you get up and walk away. It only takes a second for someone to be sitting there watching you, and you get up and plug something in real quick and download into your phone or download into your computer. It only takes a split second for that to happen, and so you always just want to maintain control of your property. Same with your females with purses or backpacks or guys with backpacks. You get up again, you leave your backpack there, you get up and walk over there. Guy sitting in there watching you gets up and drops an air tag in your bag. When's the last time you check your stuff? But there again, if your hairs on the back of your neck stand up, or you're concerned because you hear this information that you don't know how it got out, or someone's always showing up, or you see the same car parked everywhere, just take your purse, take your backpack, dump it out completely, and then squeeze every section of it and make sure there's nothing hard in one of the seams. Just protect yourself, give yourself the peace of mind that, okay, my purse or my bag is clear. Like I was talking to Chad, is like, when's the last time you looked? I mean, I see stuff, little figures and stuff on your shelf. When's the last time you looked up there? Somebody comes in here and you walk back there to get a coffee and they just drop a microphone up there.
Chad,
you don't know.
Chad, we're going to have him sweep calls.
But that's how easy it is.
Oh, yeah, we have plenty of hiding spots here.
And most people never look around, unless they're concerned. And that's like, for what I do, yes, this technology, and I have all this other gear for thermal imagers to look for heat sources, and I have, there's a special meter for these that you plug this into, and if it's a normal one, there won't be any amperage draw on it. But if it's a malicious one, it's going to draw amperage because that's what the technology in it does. But you got to have all these, like I was telling you, there's a special Bluetooth thing for finding air tags and Samsung smart tags and the 360 tiles out there. Because Bluetooth BLA, like air tags and stuff, is not going away. It's getting better and better because businesses use the BLE for inventory in their buildings. Because it's not high power, it's low power. You have to be close proximity, but they use it for inventory, and it's getting better and better and better and better every year. So that's not going away, but you have to have a special device to find it. And even with all that high-tech gear, like back when I did the Fortune 500 thing, I had a team of guys. One guy, all he did all day long for 2 days was do the phone systems because it's that elaborate. He spent 12 hours a day just checking every single line, checking phones, Another guy sat on a spectrum analyzer all day long because things don't transmit all the time. It could be recording, and then for a split second transmit it out, just like a GPS tracker. Sometimes they're not constantly out, they'll record, and then at predetermined times it'll just send it out. So if you're not watching all the time, you'll miss that spike and you won't notice it. Some of them are spread spectrum. There are all these different formats that prevent you from just seeing it right away. So one guy just sat on a spectrum analyzer, another guy had a near field detector, and he just walked around constantly all day long, slowly around every single thing, sweeping it to see if there's any energy pops. And what I dealt with was this physical search, which is the most elaborate. It's the most intrusive thing. Like if I had to sweep your building, your room here, I would have to look in every single thing. Nothing is off limits.
Man, you're going to be here for a while.
Well, and that's what it does. Sometimes it takes days, or hours, but that's the only way. Every picture on your wall, I'd have to pick it up, take it off the wall, look around it, scan it for RF, because they could stick it right behind your picture. When's the last time you took the pictures off and looked at? You haven't. Most people don't. It could be in anything, and every drawer, you have to take the drawer out, look underneath it, look inside. It's elaborate, and sometimes that's the only way you find them, is because you all of a sudden you see the camera sticking up.
Well, I tell you what, Dave, it's awesome that you came today. Chad and myself, I can speak for both of us. We want to say thank you again. And how can tell people how they can get a hold of you?
Well, right now I have my website's not up yet, but you can have an email. It's called privacysweepersllc at gmail.com. Sorry. And then my phone number is 910-352-8917. And eventually my website will be up, so you can actually go there and just get more information. But
awesome. And if you can't get a hold of him, you can call Chad. Chad, give them your number.
910-232-3401.
And you can go Off the Hook Bail. You can send. There's an email up there. You can send emails to him, or you can get a hold of me. My number is 919-605-9086. And my website, other than offthehookbail.com, it's the Allen Risk Group. No, that's my AllenRiskGroup.net is the
Email.
Robert Allen at the Allen Risk Group, but it's the AllenRiskGroup.com. But you can get a hold of us if you need us. And like I said, tune in to our YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and you can see all this interesting equipment that he brought, which is pretty cool. He's going to end up missing some of it by the end of the day. And I think our next episode, we're going to be in Florida. I just looked at the calendar and
Yeah, we're getting there.
yeah, we're getting there. So it's going to be fun. We're going to have we're going to a NABA convention, National Association for Bail Agents.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be going there and doing a lot of interviews with bondsmen all across the U.S. And we're going to be doing one with Mr. Jim Wahlberg.
Yeah, one of the Wahlberg brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna. He is joined up with bail agents to do it's like a drug rehab, and it's really good stuff. You know, they do a lot of good things. I know Mark Wahlberg does towers to what is it called? The
Michelle told us.
tunnels to towers. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, they do a lot of really interesting, good things. So we're looking forward to that.
That's good.
Yeah, Dave, thank you for coming on today. It's been
Yeah,
awesome.
thanks.
Thank you very
Thanks
much,
for
man.
having
I
me.
appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Thanks to meet.
All right, guys, that's it for episode 8. We are getting out of here very soon, going to Pensacola, Florida, and for that. But until then, thank you, Dave. I'm Rob.
I'm Chad.
And tune in offthehookbail.com or go to our YouTube channel, Off the Hook Podcast. Like, subscribe. See you later.
You've been listening to Off the Hook with Chad and Rob. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. And be sure to follow us for notifications for another exciting episode. But in the meantime, you can go to our website at www.offthehookbail.com to see more. So until next time, stay out of trouble, or it'll be you that needs to get off the hook. See you soon.